Blackwater Ben, Chapter 9. The following morning, Ben was hoping he'd get a chance to ask Charlie about his early days in England, but Pa started hollering for Ben to get back to the cook shack before he'd even knocked on the dentist's door. They were so busy that Ben was looking forward to his ride out to the cut with lunch. The sun was shining and the sky was brilliant blue when he went up to hitch old Dan. "Remember what I said?" Needlenose asked as Ben opened the barn door. "You remember?" He planted his face in front of Ben. Ben tried not to stare at that nose. "I can't exactly recall." "Snow, you greenhorn gazebo. I was talking about how snow is not always a good thing." "But it's not snowing." "Get back out there and open your eyes." Needlenose brought his nose to within a half an inch of Ben's. Ben nearly tripped as he stepped outside and looked up. "All I can see is blue sky and a few clouds." "Not that way," Needlenose spun around him. "Over yonder, low on the horizon in the northwest, a black wall of clouds was building. A storm's coming. You'll be lucky if you get your sleigh back before it hits." Needlenose's prediction didn't miss by much. Ben had just started soaking the lunch dishes when the flakes started falling. "Make sure you get that water good and hot," Pa said. "I know," Ben said. It took lots of soap and scalding water to wash off the hunks of frozen food. After he rinsed the silverware, he dumped it in a clean white grain sack like Pa had taught him and shook the pieces partly dry. Then he finished off the utensils by setting them in an empty pan of warm on the stove. Ben figured Pa was being too cautious about being clean. The lumberjacks were so tough that there wasn't a germ in all creation powerful enough to make them sick. When the push stopped by the cook shack for his afternoon cup of blackjack, his lips were tight. "A storm's blowing in, Jack," he said. "Maybe we'll have to ask your boy to help us with the snowplow tonight." Ben was proud that the push had thought of him until he saw Pa's grin. "That's a good one." "I'll say." The push slapped his knee and joined Pa in laughing. "You keep practicing with old Dan, Tadpole," the push grinned at Ben, "and someday you'll be driving a real team." "Old Dan ain't that easy to handle," Ben said. "Sure, son." "Old Dan ain't that easy to handle," Ben said. "Sure, son. We better make sure that the wood butcher and the Needlenose have got the plow rigged." A short while later, Ben heard the jangle of chains. He looked out the door. Packy was pulling a V-plow made out of 2 half-sawn pine logs joined by a cross brace. "Look, Pa," Ben said. "They've rigged a 6-horse hitch. We had a 3-day blowover at Northholm one year, and it took 16 horses to pull the plow. The drifts got higher than the eaves of the bunkhouse." As Ben watched Packy's team disappear, he recalled the push's laughter. "Someday I'll show them," he thought.